right, welcome to the Harmony Channel. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. Thank you for joining me. Hey, we have to discuss what's going on with the MAGA movement, what's going on in the Republican Party. There seems to be a feud, and I think it's a necessary feud. That I think this is a healthy time. It's the appropriate time for people that consider themselves allies to figure out, are they really allies? And to figure out, hey, what we do and don't agree on, and we must do this publicly. And this Iran-Israel situation seems to be something that is drawing out and drawing conflict between Republicans and so-called allies. This has been bubbling beneath the surface, or maybe even on the surface, for a long time. That like this whole MAGA movement and what Trump started with the MAGA movement is taking on a life of its own, and there are still people from Lindsey Graham at the top of the food chain to now Mitch McConnell's basically been irrelevant, or I can't even think, is he out of office? I can't, but the whole establishment Republican deal, and there's a lot of them, are being unseated and uprooted by the whole MAGA movement. And it's even their influence, the MAGA movement's influence over Donald Trump, who is trying to find common ground, trying to split the middle, trying to find compromise, trying to just survive. And it's no different than what we just had with the illegal immigration situation, where Trump backpedaled and started saying, hey, we're not going to deport these important people that help at farms and help do this kind of slave labor work. We're not going, and the MAGA was like, no, man, we want them people imported too. We voted for the deportation of all of these illegals, and we don't care what job they're doing. And Trump had to back off and fold because his base said no. The exact same thing is going on, it appears to me, as it relates to Iran and Israel. There are people within the MAGA movement, Tucker Carlson being at the forefront, Marjorie Taylor Greene being at the forefront, Candace Owens being at the forefront, that are like, hey, we don't want any more wars. And we don't care who's at war. We don't want any more. That's what we voted for. No more wars. No more money to Ukraine. No more money anywhere. You have people like Matt Walsh that are standing 10 toes down. Hey, man, Israel, all these other countries have to stand on their own 2 feet. We have problems here at home that we want President Trump and this administration to address. And so this is spun out in ugly fashion, but necessary fashion. This has to happen. Men and women who disagree need to duel, debate, attack each other's arguments in public. It is necessary. It's actually healthy. And so it's been a bit uncomfortable for me because Tucker Carlson is someone I consider a friend, someone I consider a journalistic ally, someone who I think is on a path and a search for truth in an authentic way, and someone who's leaning into his faith journey in an authentic way. You know, Tucker Carlson's my guy, and he's in a knockdown, drag-out feud with Mark Levin, who has been nothing but kind and supportive of me. And it's not that he's been over the top, but when someone has been nothing but kind and supportive of me, I give them respect. And I don't care if they disagree with me about certain political issues. Mark Levin is attached to, was a co-founder of the Blaze, and people are now, because Mark Levin is pretty much pro-war, supporting Israel at all costs, and he's in conflict with Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Candace Owens and all this other stuff. And so that created an opening. For those of you that have been with me in the show for 2 or 3 years, you remember Royce White regularly appearing on Fearless, and you perhaps remember me dusting Royce White, because he became uncontrollable on this show. And he became someone that wanted to hijack, not on this show, not on Harmony, but on the Fearless show. He wanted to hijack it and wanted me to quit talking about sports and talk strictly politics. And that's not what I want to do. And I understand the time that we live in, and I understand that there are more important issues for a number of people beyond sports. But for me, and my understanding of the world, and for what I feel like my role is in this cultural war, I'm not going to surrender ground on sports. And I've explained to you all, and I'm going to continue to explain to you all, the reason I'm not going to surrender ground on sports is because we, Christians, built and organized sports. We did that. You've heard me say it time and time again. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I want to hammer it. The Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA, founded in 1844 in London. They organized sports in the late 1800s globally because they wanted a masculine Christianity, and they wanted men participating in sports and in exercise in a masculine way. They wanted to promote Christianity as a masculine religion and faith. They organized sports. And many of you just want to throw up your hands, throw up the white flag and say, hey, sports now do not reflect Christian values. I give up. F sports, I'm moving on. It's just entertainment. It's just a distraction. Sports are a tool to reinforce Christian values and Christian masculinity. I don't believe in giving up on something we built. I believe in defending it and taking it back because it's being used as a tool to undermine the masculinity and the leadership of young men. Don't give it away and don't let them just come and hijack and take it from you. Take it back. You built that. It was your tool to disciple young men. Now we're just letting non-Christians, people that don't believe Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior, to hijack sports and use it as a tool to promote secular values. So anyway, that led to conflict between Royce White and I because Royce didn't come on the show as much as he wanted to or as much as he felt like he should. And, you know, he ended up on October 25th, I believe, of 2023, he ended up taping a podcast criticizing me for continuing to talk sports, and you shouldn't be talking about Deion Sanders, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be talking politics, this is the time we're in. And I'm like, hey man, I can support the people. This is my thoughts. I can support the people that are experts in that lane. I can support Tucker Carlson and people that have dedicated their lives to evaluating and talking about politics, while I talk about some of the cultural issues and mostly the spiritual issues, and I connect it to, again, a cultural tent pole that we built sports. But I offered Royce some correction via text message. He spun off the rails, and I'm talking the correction. I'm about to get to the money point. It had nothing to do with Mark Levin. It was, I brought Royce on October 25th or 24th to talk about the tension between blacks and Jews. And Royce went off in these analogies and talking points that I quite frankly did not understand and felt like the audience didn't understand. Royce has a tendency to talk over my head. And in my view, talk over the audience's head. And so I offered you some correction. Hey, you can make all your points, just unpack it in a way that people understand. He went off the rails because he was frustrated because 2 weeks earlier, on October 5th, once out of nowhere, he started name calling Mark Levin out of nowhere on this show. And I'm like, hey man, I like and respect Mark Levin. He's been nothing but kind and supportive of me. He has no influence over what I do on this show. Why are you name calling him? And I couldn't understand it. I didn't understand where it came from because it was name calling. It was called him some kind of cuck or something. I can't remember, but it was just name calling. I was like, hey man, that's not what we're doing on this show with someone who works in the same organization as me, who is respected by me, who's been nothing but kind by me. You want to criticize Mark Levin and do it on your own platform or do it somewhere where it's appropriate. I did that on October 5th. Royce appeared on the show 2 or 3 more times. And then on October 25th, I gave Royce some correction about, hey man, you're talking over my head, the audience's head. You're trying to hit 360 dunks instead of just taking the layups. Said it all. Anyway, that sent Royce off the rails. Hasn't been on the show since. Now that Tucker Carlson, everybody knows that I consider Tucker Carlson my ally. Tucker Carlson just did roll call with me. Tucker Carlson's a friend of mine. Well, now he's in a public feud with Mark Levin. These are grown men. Used to be colleagues or worked together at Fox News. They should have their public feud. It's healthy. It's necessary. They're doing it on appropriate platforms. Mark Levin on his radio show, on his podcast, on his Twitter feed, Tucker Carlson on the Tucker Carlson Network, and yesterday on Steve Bannon's show. Tucker Carlson on Steve Bannon's show. These are appropriate platforms for that feud. Fearless, where we mostly talk about sports, and I don't have a problem with Mark Levin because that's not my lane and because the man ain't done nothing but treat me with respect. Why bring that fight? Why dirty it up on my platform? That's trying to drag me into a fight Royce wants to have. I don't have an interest in fighting with people that are my teammates here at the Blaze. Now, have you not watched me on my platform? My platform, the people I want to fight with? Have you not seen me do that? Did I fight publicly with Jeremy Boring? Yes. Have I been critical of Ben Shapiro from time to time? Yes, on my platform. Did I run over to someone else's platform and try to drag them into a fight that I wanted to have? Was I tagging, when me and Jeremy Boring were going back over Twitter, was I tagging other people? Hey, Tucker, come join in on this fight. Hey, Tucker, let me come on your show and take pot shots at Jeremy Boring. It's not what I did. That's not what I do. I'm not really a fan of pot shots. The disagreement between Jeremy Boring and I was not pot shots. It was like, man, you calling yourself the God King? You're running around acting like God? And you're trying to tell me what I can and can't say? I didn't like Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire saying, hey, let's pardon Derek Chauvin. Wow, that's going to be a hot mess. Anywho, because Mark Levin and Tucker Carlson are publicly feuding, Royce White decided yesterday to drag me back into it, or attempted to. And most people are, hey, Jason, you just need to ignore Royce. He's irrelevant and he's just looking for attention. And I get it. He is just looking for attention. And so he put out a tweet and I just, I was like, let me answer it. He wants an answer. He was begging for my attention. Let me give him some attention. But here's what Royce White tweeted out yesterday. Somebody tagged Jason for me. He still has me blocked. I'm ahead on so many things. The name Morpheus is apropos. I'm really not ahead. I just don't have any handlers or backers that tell me what I can and can't say. So the truth flows. It's an easy life filled with conflict. That was one of Royce's tweets. And, Royce played a clip of me on another tweet, or maybe it's the original tweet where he's saying, a year ago, I was critical of Mark Levin and Jason Whitlock, deleted what I said and blah, but wouldn't air it. And he's right. He came on and took pot shots at the unexplained pot shots at Mark Levin, and we deleted them out because this is beneath our show. It's not explained. It's just somebody picking a fight. Royce, go do that on your own platform. Why use me? Yeah, I'm a guy that believes in standing on your own 2 feet. And it's that's why, and again, I'm no expert on Iran and Israel. I'm no expert on any of these international political affairs. I have a simple set of values that I tend to believe in. You want to pick a fight, you handle it yourself. Don't drag me into your fight. Now, you can come try to talk me in behind the scenes. Hey, here's why you should join me in this fight. And then I get to decide. But just dragging me in. And so, my position is Israel wants to fight with Iran. I don't want America dragged into it. They got to come over here and make a case to me in private that convinces me that America needs to be dragged into the fight with Iran. And at this point, they haven't done that for me. Maybe they've done it for Trump and he's all in, but I'm not there yet. And so I don't respect people that underhandedly or whatever try to drag someone else into a fight they want to have. That's why I don't respect Royce. And I ended up giving a response with many of the details and that I've already expressed to you all here, restating, no, Royce, here's what really happened. You're trying to pretend like you got dumped from the show over the pot shots you tried to take at Mark Levin. You didn't get dumped from the show from that. It had nothing to do with it because we didn't originally air those pot shots. When you attacked me 2 years ago, yes, we ended up here's what Royce said, because I want you to have a full picture of what he said and what we cut out. I'm not hiding anything. And then I shared with you all the text message Royce sent me on October 25th, overreacting to some polite, direct feedback. Royce is a closeted leftist. He voted for Biden and Harris in 2020. He led BLM riots. He's incapable of taking care of what he has created on this, a marriage, kids. Anytime you're some man that has to ask me to rent you a car so you can take your wife and kids home to Minneapolis, you're not handling your business. Anyway, I'm not trying to escalate the feud with Royce. I'm trying to give you an understanding of where we are at this time and why I think it's healthy. People can publicly disagree, and this is what I respect about Tucker Carlson. This is what I respect about the MAGA movement. Everybody pretends like MAGA is this cult where anything that comes out of Trump's mouth is gospel. That is not the case. Just like I told y'all a couple of weeks ago, and people got upset with me, but I was like, hey man, I like MAGA people. That's where my real loyalty lies. Not with the politicians and not with even Trump. I like Trump, I do, but I'm not loyal to Trump. I'm loyal to MAGA. I'm loyal to average, everyday, working Americans who want things cleaned up here in America, who don't want to live in this international cesspool that they're building here in America. I don't want any more Ilhan Omars importing everybody from Somalia into her voting block and district so that she can usurp power here in America and rewrite our Constitution. I don't want illegal immigrants here in America. I don't want people that want to set up Mexico, Somalia, Italy, what here in America. I want people that want to assimilate into a traditional American values to come to America. And I want those people that come here through a legal immigration process to go through a rite of passage before we just start handing them power. Whoever, I can't think of the guy from India who can barely speak English that was calling for Trump to be impeached or whatever. I don't want any more of that. And I'm not going to apologize for saying I don't want any more of that. I don't want someone with the heavy, thick Indian accent that just got here, getting into political power, and then trying to say, hey, let's impeach the president that you guys elected, and let's rewrite and change up this Constitution. Now, whoever that guy is, who I can't remember his name, but y'all, it was like super thick. Do I like Vivek Ramaswamy? Hell yes. Graduated from St. X High School in Ohio, valedictorian or something at that high school. Yeah, I like him. Got no problem with him. Loved his support of Donald Trump and was like, hey, man, he might be a good presidential candidate. No problem. He's assimilated into America. He talks like an American. He thinks like an American. Do I wish he was a Christian? Absolutely. But, you know, I allow him to do whatever he wants to do religiously. But I want people that want to assimilate into American culture because I like American culture because it's been good to me. And it's been good, even though black people deny it, it's been good to black people. This is the safest, most prosperous, most opportunity-rich place on the planet for black people. They can lie about it. They can whine and cry on TV. They can go protest and loot in the streets. They're all lying. They're under a mass brainwash psychosis. This is the best place for a black person on the planet. I like it here, and I want more of it here. I want traditional American values, freedom of speech, people that respect our founding fathers, people that respect the journey that it took for America to become the greatest country on the planet. And so I'm not alone. And I want people here and I want politicians that don't want to get us into more fruitless wars that don't serve Americans. And I'm not alone in that. Candace Owens, right there with me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, right there with me. I know these are polarizing names that I'm not supposed to like. And, oh, Candace Owens, she's anti-Semitic. Oh, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's racist. I disagree. These people, as it relates to Candace Owens, she's on her Catholic faith walk and is saying things that she believes are consistent with her Catholic values. Marjorie Taylor Greene, as I've told her personally, reminds me of the girls I went to high school with, or a lot of them, and just has them working class, girl next door values. Told her, I like and respect that. She's got a pair. Don't agree with everything that comes out of her mouth, but I think she comes from a sincere place. I don't know much about her personal life, and I've heard people hop on my Twitter or my X account. Jason, how could you support Marjorie Taylor Greene as a Christian? She did X, Y, and Z to her husband. She left her husband, blah, blah. And what I say to that is like, hey, have you read the Bible and all the things those people did that God still used? Have you listened to me on this show talk about all the idiotic, immoral things that I've done? And you want me to discard Marjorie Taylor Greene? I got a big plank in my own eye. Oh, she cheated. And I'm not minimizing her cheating on her husband if she did that. But having participated and slept with a married woman myself years ago, it's hard for me to discard Marjorie Taylor Greene and say she's disqualified from having an opinion or being respected. I would have to disqualify myself. It's not going to happen. I like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So there's a feud that is going on between, to me, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, hit it out of the park. Candace Owens did. Call up the Candace Owens tweet where she's talking about the Never Trump people. Because to me, this seems like a split between people. Could we call up the Candace Owens tweet? Yeah. It seems like a split between people who hopped on board with Trump and MAGA late, have never been comfortable with Trump or MAGA. There's a fight over who's going to control Trump. Is it going to be MAGA or is it going to be establishment Republicans? This is an ongoing feud. Can we get back to normal where the neocons and the uniparty people are actually in control of the presidency, or is Trump going to continue to pander to this MAGA base? Candace Owens, I thought, nailed it. Trump is now mocking Tucker Carlson for not being on TV. I don't know what Tucker Carlson is saying. Let him go get a television network and say it so that people listen. That's her quoting Trump. And then she says, completely out of touch and ironic given the fact that podcasters won Trump the election. And here's the Never Trump tweet. Donald Trump just completely fractured his base, and he did it for the very neocons who minted the Never Trump movement. Truly unbelievable. I agree. I agree. To me, it's not really unexpected. This is what politics do, and this is what happens when you get into survival mode. And Trump has been in survival mode for quite some time because the Democrats were dead set on incarcerating him. And they've been dead set on killing him. And this is, if you didn't watch Tucker Carlson's appearance on Steve Bannon's show, Tucker Carlson unpacked this, that since 1963, when the deep state apparently killed JFK, and we still can't get the full JFK files. Tucker Carlson's like, every politician since 1963 knows, hey, if you stray too far out of line, the deep state will kill you. And that hangs over every politician's head, including Donald Trump. When you get shot in the ear while giving a speech in Butler, Pennsylvania, that is a shot that was intended to kill you, but at the very least, it's intended to intimidate you and make you fall in line. I'm not saying Trump has sold out. That's not what I'm saying. But he's in an impossible position where it's very, very difficult to resist the deep state, to resist the establishment that wants to maintain control over America and American politics. And so Trump may have served his purpose, but the MAGA movement must live on. It must survive past Donald Trump. And so if it all gets fractured and this feud continues and Trump, ends up siding with the establishment out of his own natural desire to survive, it would not surprise me. And so Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the rest of us in the MAGA movement, we need to continue to put pressure on Donald Trump. Love him to death, love the sacrifices he's made, but we must keep pressure on him. Must. Or he'll fold. Because they intend to fold. And that's no disrespect. That's not taking a shot at Trump. But when you live in that life or death bubble for, 2015? This has been 10 years now. He announced in 2015. We're now in 2025. He's been in a life or death struggle. Man can only put up with that for so long before they start making deals to preserve their life. Trump is not Jesus Christ. He's Donald Trump. There's only one person who's truly been willing to die for all of us. Now, there have been men throughout history that have died for this cause, the Civil War, World War II, that have mimicked Jesus Christ. But I'll just say this, if I had billions of dollars and I got to go home to Melania Trump every night, I wouldn't be wanting to die. I got billions of dollars and Melania Trump's my wife. I want to hang on for as long as possible. I'm not questioning Trump's courage. He's shown it and demonstrated. I'm just saying there's an expiration date on that courage. So I wanted to get that off my chest. Thank you all for joining me here on the Harmony channel. We'll play some Harmony, and we'll see you next time.
How did we end up so divided? Stop fighting and stand tall. We used to be a nation, one united. Now we're headed for downfall.